This was one of my favorite movies as a kid. If you know anything about me, you know I didn't have a whole lot of DC or Marvel influence growing up. My thing was Power Rangers. The thing that really drew me to it as a kid was the most popular form of media at the time for DC and Marvel were its animated shows. But Power Rangers was live action.
Morphin' time! Right there, Tom! Tyrannosaurus! Mastodon!
Saber-tooth tiger!
White Tiger!
I feel like I really got to know these characters, look up to them as influences and heroes, because what they were doing on screen felt tangible and real, even though the show itself was not very real at all. But after about age 12 or 13, if I went out and preached about how much I loved Power Rangers or what it meant to me, I would have gotten made fun of. Simply because my interests just weren't cool enough. I wasn't interested in Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto at that age. I was forced to move on and look towards new interests. But as I got older and society got just a little less judgmental, I found myself regressing back to those things that brought me joy as a kid. Back then, I wouldn't have dared to put Club Penguin or Wizard 101 stickers on my laptop, or open up a YouTube video that I know people I used to go to high school with are going to be watching with the 90s Power Ranger movie. I'm trying to make that stuff more a part of my identity, more of what makes me, me. Because our childhood is the foundation for everything. You want to know a crazy fun fact about me? It's unlisted right now, but my claim to fame on the internet is a video uploaded to this channel that has 10 million views. And it's a Japanese Power Ranger scene. I actually uploaded a lot of Power Ranger videos at the time, and for some reason that was the one to blow up. But I think it's really interesting that if you want to see directly what I was interested in my childhood, you can go back and look at the different eras of videos that I was uploading at the time. For example, there was a time when I was really interested in creating stick figure animation movies, and that got me to create my channel in the first place. Of course, I had a Minecraft phase, a Let's Play phase, a sketch comedy phase, all different kinds. But you see a switch flip around the time that I was 14. I decided to abandon this channel and have a fresh start with a completely new one called Mr. RW Studios Plus. And that was because the original name for this YouTube channel for its first 12 years was Mr. RW Studios, so I thought I'm gonna start anew by adding a plus at the end. Anyway, that channel is actually still live, and if you wanted to watch any of those videos, you would instantly tell that I had no personality back then. And that was because I dropped the things that truly interested me. I had a lot of fun playing Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto over the years. I made a lot of videos on them, a lot of fun experiences with friends, but it's not something that I would go and buy every piece of memorabilia I could about it. Like I said, if you go back and watch those videos, you can just kind of see how copycatty and soulless they are, and I think that's a direct representation of who I was as a person at the time. And quite frankly, I lost myself in a way. If you knew me in person at the time, you would be able to tell that I was putting on this facade of mimicking other people's personalities. So in a way, I was like a social chameleon. I was able to fit in with a lot of different people, but the side effect of that is I just really had no clue who I truly was. So it goes back to what I said. Who you are is rooted in your childhood. It was a time of discovery, not just for your interests, but also the world. Everything was new, everything was fun. For most people, you got to live with the blissful ignorance that you had as a child. But as you get older, you care a little too much about your self-image and what others will think about the real you. When I released my YouTube video over a month ago, some of my closest friends had no idea that I had a YouTube channel. That this was a part of my life for 12 years because I chose to curate what I showed off to the world. Now, of course, I'm not saying you can't discover more stuff about yourself when you're older, but I personally believe that the things that you're interested in when you're older have roots in your childhood. No, I didn't spend a whole lot of time listening to music as a kid, so that was something I really discovered for myself later. But I think the rock and indie music that I listen today could be traced back to the music I passively heard in television shows or what my parents listened to. My interest in DC and Marvel nowadays stem from the love for the fantastical that I had as a kid, as well as the superhero media that surrounded me, including Power Rangers. And my discovery of wanting to be a filmmaker can be traced back to the day that I decided I wanted to start sharing my stick figure animations on my YouTube channel. Now, what I mean with all of this is that you just can't let your childhood escape you. The shows you watch, the games you played, the things that brought you joy as a kid will stick with you forever. I've learned that I should have no shame in having been a Power Rangers kid, a Minecraft kid, Disney Channel kid, or a Nintendo kid. The change in the entertainment industry of sucking every ounce of nostalgia they can out of you is proof of that. Now I'm going to be upfront with you guys, I am definitely a part of the problem too. For example, all of the collector's edition memorabilia that I can convince and justify myself to buy. Or every new comic book I purchase about my favorite series. I'm on my way to Big Brother Comics. It's in the heart of downtown. It's a very cool place, lots of amazing graphic novels, single issue comics, as well as role-playing games and expensive retro toys, and I am going there on a mission. So I think that was a successful hunt. I got exactly what I came here for. This comic is in a series of 6 titled Power Rangers Universe, and this specific one is a part of a series of variant covers for those 6 issues. Each of them showcase different Rangers of the same color. The first time I bought one of these, I was super excited on my way home because I thought it was a giant team up with all of the Rangers of that color. But I realized that none of them are actually in it, and it's just a variant cover. But the story for the actual series is really solid, and I recommend you check it out. But there's a more specific reason why I bought this comic. The reason that I'm being so retrospective of my childhood lately is because of a tragedy that happened a week or so ago. The most popular Power Ranger for the entire series run, the face of Power Rangers since 1993, committed suicide at the age of 49. This guy was a hero to me, man. Not that long ago, Kevin Conroy passed away, and the outpouring online from fans about how much he meant to so many people, the hero that he was to DC and comic book fans, that is what I'm feeling right now. Jason David Frank was to Power Rangers what Robert Downey Jr. was to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He'd always come back, he'd always prevail, and he'd always save the day. There's something so gut-wrenching about seeing your childhood hero, the coolest and most powerful hero you grew up with, having been multiple Rangers, seemingly like, as the powers work in the show, this unstoppable force. Not to mention how amazing and inspirational of a person he was in real life. That person you looked up to, hanging himself. The child in me died a little bit that day. He was a symbol of hope for me as a kid, and with his death, that glimmer of hope slowly fading. We all change as we get older, as we start to experience the harsh truth of reality, but nothing hits harder than the person who brought you through that darkness as a kid, succumbing to it themselves. Life is hard, man. Nothing makes you realize it more than something like this. That even the strongest looking people can have their own internal battles. But at the same time, it gives you this realization that you're not alone. That your heroes aren't perfect, and neither do you need to be. Jason David Frank inspired me both on and off screen, and even when I didn't realize it, influenced the person that I became today. Which is why those elements of our past should never be forgotten. I just wish that one day I'd be able to meet him at a convention and tell him the impact that he had on my life, but it's a shame that I'll never get to do that now. Despite that, he'll always have a place amongst all the other things in my life. As cliche as it sounds, just be yourself. Don't be afraid to enjoy what you want to enjoy or show weakness when you need to be vulnerable. I've learned more than ever lately that without that foundation, things can be ever so lonely. Without something to lean on, whether that be your guilty pleasure game or your comfort show that you've seen 11 times. Despite that, always look to expand your horizons and search for new interests. I've been trying to engage with some new shows and games lately. Sea of Thieves is something I've been really enjoying lately, as well as Splatoon 3. On the show slide, I'm slacking a little bit, but I'm slowly making my way through Breaking Bad. So yeah, the moral of the story is just Try new things. You have no clue what might be out there, but don't forget what brought you there.